UEFA is facing one of the most delicate moments in its modern history, as growing political tension collides directly with football. Inside the corridors of Europe's governing body, officials are quietly preparing for a possible emergency vote that could decide whether Israel remains eligible to compete in continental tournaments. The move comes after weeks of escalating calls from member associations demanding action in response to ongoing reports from Gaza. The debate is not only about sport, but about identity, responsibility, and the role of football in times of crisis. UEFA has long tried to maintain a neutral stance, presenting itself as a platform that unites nations under the banner of competition. Yet the current climate makes neutrality feel impossible. Several federations, influenced by political leaders and public pressure, have made it clear that silence would be interpreted as complicity. At the heart of the discussion is whether Israel's continued participation undermines UEFA's credibility. Some argue that allowing business as usual, while humanitarian concerns dominate headlines, sends the wrong message to fans, players, and global observers. Others, however, stress that football should remain a space of dialogue, not division, and that suspensions risk deepening rifts across Europe's footballing family. Behind closed doors, officials describe a mood of unease. Sources suggest that the executive committee is divided, with some urging immediate suspension, while others advocate for caution, fearing a dangerous precedent. The stakes are enormous. Expelling a member state is rare, and every decision UEFA takes will resonate beyond the pitch. Clubs from across the continent have already expressed concern, with some players privately questioning whether they should take part in fixtures against Israeli sides. The potential for boycotts has added another layer of uncertainty, making UEFA's eventual stance all the more critical. This is not just a bureaucratic decision. It is a choice that could redefine how football interacts with geopolitics. Meanwhile, voices from the Israeli Football Association insist that they should not be punished for political matters beyond their control. They argue that players, coaches, and fans are unfairly caught in the middle of a conflict they did not create. To them, removing Israel from competitions would represent a direct assault on the principles of sporting fairness. Human rights groups, on the other hand, continue to amplify their calls for suspension. They emphasize the moral obligation of European institutions to act decisively when humanitarian violations are alleged. For these organizations, football is not exempt from ethical responsibility. Instead, it should lead by example. Public sentiment is increasingly polarized. In several European capitals, demonstrations have taken place demanding that UEFA sever ties with Israel. At the same time, other groups warn against mixing politics with sport, highlighting the risk of football being weaponized for political agendas. This divide reflects the larger global debate about where sport ends and politics begins. Journalists covering UEFA note the immense pressure facing her president, Alexander Ceferin. His leadership will be tested as never before, and whichever way he leans will shape his legacy. If he pushes for suspension, he may win support from campaigners, but alienate powerful allies. If he resists, he risks being seen as tone-deaf to humanitarian suffering. Inside UEFA's headquarters, preparations are underway for a heated meeting. Delegates from all member associations are expected to voice their positions openly. Many believe the decision could fracture alliances within UEFA, as federations with differing political sympathies clash in unprecedented ways.
The timing could not be more sensitive, with major competitions already on the horizon. The Champions League, Europa League, and upcoming international qualifiers are directly affected by any ruling. Fixtures may need to be redrawn, and organizers brace for logistical chaos should a suspension be approved. For players, the uncertainty is unsettling. Many Israeli athletes are now facing the prospect of exclusion from the very stage they've trained their lives for. At the same time, their opponents are left unsure about whether their future matches will go ahead. The psychological toll of this limbo is significant, leaving careers hanging in the balance. Some analysts compare the situation to previous cases where nations were excluded due to political turmoil, such as Russia's suspension following the invasion of Ukraine. But others caution against drawing direct parallels, noting that each case is unique and must be judged within its own context. The broader footballing world is watching closely. FIFA has not yet taken a formal position, but the global governing body may eventually be forced to address the issue if UEFA moves forward. The ripple effects could influence competitions far beyond Europe, affecting international tournaments and transfer markets. Sponsors and broadcasters are equally alert, monitoring the situation with concern. A suspension would inevitably alter contracts, broadcasting rights, and revenue flows. For UEFA, this financial dimension adds another layer of risk to an already combustible debate. Fans remain divided but deeply engaged. Social media has become a battleground of opinions, with hashtags calling both for suspension and for sport to stay neutral. This online storm adds visibility and intensity to UEFA's dilemma, ensuring that whatever decision is taken will be scrutinized globally. Diplomatic figures from various European governments have also weighed in, indirectly pressuring UEFA to reflect wider political stances. For some, football represents an opportunity to send symbolic messages. For others, it risks undermining diplomatic channels by forcing premature judgments. As the countdown to the emergency meeting approaches, uncertainty fills the air. Will UEFA choose a bold step that places human rights above competition, or will it retreat into cautious pragmatism? Every option carries risks, and there are no easy answers. What remains certain is that this episode has already redefined the boundaries of football's role in society. No matter the outcome, UEFA will emerge altered, its choices remembered for years to come. The world of sport is no longer a sheltered arena. It has become an active stage where global conflicts are played out. In the days ahead, all eyes will turn to Nyon, where football's administrators must weigh fairness against politics, compassion against pragmatism. Their decision will not just determine Israel's immediate future in European competitions, it will send a message about the values football is willing to stand for in an increasingly fractured world.